everyone, VJ42 back again, and today I'm doing another video game related video. I was gonna have a video playing, but I decided, this will be better. Let's have a picture. Today I'm gonna be, talking about who I think is gonna be in WWE 2K18 on the roster. I already tried doing this video earlier, and it was way too long, so I'm gonna try to skip a lot of things. I wanted to mention first of all, there's a lot of guys obviously who are guaranteed to be in the game, pretty much anyone who's on the current roster, so I'm not going to be talking about them. But let's see about some of the guys who were in last year's game, if they're going to be back this year. First of all, Albert, who was in as a DLC, I'd say there's probably like an 80% chance he will be back. Wherever the hell I put that one. There's a good chance he'll be back. But there's also a chance he won't be. Alberto Del Rio, no longer with the WWE. He's burned a lot of bridges. There is zero chance he will be back in this year's game. A very slim chance. Alicia Fox, he's been not very active in the ring. And I know they're not very good at putting in female managers as wrestlers. So there's a chance that they may take her out as a wrestler. I don't know. We'll see. It depends if they want to follow current storylines or whatnot. They might put her as both like a manager and a wrestler. Alundra Blaze, I do expect to see back. Andre the Giant, I expect to see again. Arn Anderson, I expect to see again. Austin Aries, who was a DLC in last year's game, I'd forgotten about that. Since he is no longer with the WWE, there's a 50-50 chance he'll be in the game, 50% chance he'll be in the game, and a 50% chance that he won't be. It just depends on whether or not they decide to put him in or keep him in. So, I mean, don't hold your breath on that one. There's a chance he won't be, but there's also a good chance that he will be. Bam Bam Bigelow, I expect to see him again. Big Boss Man, I expect to see again. Billy Gunn, I expect to see. Blake and Murphy, less likely. I think there may be a 75% chance they'll be in the game. There's a good chance they'll still be in the game. However, what have Blake and Murphy done in the last year and a half? Basically, zip. Since they broke up as a tag team in NXT, they've been doing nothing. They're no longer relevant. As far as I'm concerned, they could be replaced on the roster with somebody who is much more relevant. It would not hurt me. It would not bother me at all if they were not in the game, but there's still a good chance that they will be. Booker T, I expect to see again. Same with Bret Hart, obviously. Brian Pillman, I expect to see again. Brie Bella, I expect will be in the game. British Bulldog, I expect will be in the game. Brutus the Barber Beefcake, it's a pretty good chance he'll be back again. Probably a 90% chance. Bubba Ray Dudley, a Devon Dudley, the Dudley Boys. This one gets a little bit sticky because, again, they are also no longer with the WWE. However, Devon does still work with the WWE in a backstage role. And as far as I know, Bubba Ray Dudley is still on good terms with them. It would be a damn shame for the Dudleys to not be in the game, especially since it's pretty much 100% that we will get the Hardy Boys back this year. And it would be the first time in like 15 years that we've had the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian all in one video game. Make it happen, 2K. There's no reason why we can't get the Dudleys in the game and the Hardys. As well as, of course, Edge and Christian will be in the game. Without a doubt. The Fabulous Freebirds, there's a pretty good chance, 90-95% chance they'll be back. The Bushwhackers, again, 90-95% chance they'll be back. Obviously, Mick Foley and all his Faces of Fear. Faces of Foley will be... I'm thinking of something else, Faces of Fear. Mick Foley and all his faces will be in there. Chris Jericho will be in there. Kristen will be in there. We talked about the Dudleys. Diamond Dallas Page will obviously be in there since he is going to be a part of the Hall of Fame showcase, if anything. Los Matadors. There's a 50-50 chance we'll see them again. And there's actually a good chance this year that we'll actually see the Colognes, unlike last year when we didn't get the signing stars. We just got Los Matadors for some reason. But there's it's easy enough to put in Los Matadors if they want to keep them in and also put in the Colognes. Diesel, Kevin Nash, I expect to see one or both of those characters. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, I expect to see. The Natural Disasters, I expect there's a good chance we'll see them again. Eddie Guerrero, hopefully we'll see him again. There's a very good chance of that. Edge, of course, will be in the game, I expect. Eva Marie, she's still listed on the roster page on the WWE website. I don't know what's up with that because last I checked, she's no longer under contract. But being that she's still listed there, there is a 50-50 chance she will be in the game, especially if she's still working with them in some kind of way, shape, or form. Goldberg, I expect will be back. Greg the Hammer Valentine, I expect we'll probably see him again. There's a pretty good chance. Obviously, Hunter Hearst Helmsley will be in. Ivory, there's a pretty good chance we'll see her again. Jack Swagger, no longer with the company. I don't expect to see him. Jacqueline, very good chance we'll see her again. Jake the Snake Roberts, I expect to see again. JBL, I definitely expect to see. Jim Neidhart, I expect we'll see. Good chance. 95% chance. Kerry Von Erich, the Von Erichs, again, a pretty good chance. 90% chance we'll see them again. Lana has been in the last couple of games as a manager, but not a playable wrestler, much to the chagrin of a lot of players. Now that she's actually competing in the ring, there is a 75% chance, I would say, or 80% chance that she will be playable in the game and not just a manager. And about damn time. But there's still a good possibility that she won't be. It depends how recent they want to make it. And if anything, maybe she'll be a DLC as a playable character. Larry Sabisco, the living legend, I expect we'll see him again. Same with Lex Luger. Lita obviously will be in the game. The Macho Man Randy Savage, ooh yeah, dig it. I expect we'll see him again. Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, it would be a perfect game if he was included. I expect to see him. Paige, again, a sticky situation. I'd say there's probably a 50% chance he'll be in the game because he's not on the best of terms with the WWE. He's having all sorts of issues. And now he might be getting charged with domestic violence. And, of course, the issues with her man, Alberto Del Rio. And she's been out for a year now, over a year. And no idea if she's coming back. So there's a pretty good chance that we won't see her in this year's game, but there's still a small chance we will. Papa Songo, I expect we'll probably see again. And then again, maybe not. Who knows? Obviously, Ric Flair will be in the game. Gravison Rick Rude to be in the game. Ricky Steamboat will likely be back. Rikishi will probably be back. Roda, more than likely. Shawn Michaels, obviously. Simon Gotch, of course, no longer with the WWE. I do not expect to see him in the game at all. Stardust, I was kind of surprised he was in last year's game, being that he was. There is a small chance, 50% chance maybe, that he'll be in this year's game. Who knows? It depends if they want to put him or not. Sting, obviously, will be in the game, as will Stone Cold Steve Austin. I just don't know if we're going to see 5 different versions of Sting this year, because that was kind of ridiculous. Psycho Sid, I expect we'll see again. Pretty good chance. Summer Rae, she's been MIA for some time now, out with injuries, and still hasn't returned for some reason. They haven't figured out what they're going to do with her yet. Pretty good chance we'll see her, but at the same time, we may not. That being said, I just want to point out that in many previous games, they would, look at the active roster and they would put guys in the game from that active roster. And if people were gone out of storylines for some time with injuries, they might not have made the cut. In this year's game, there is going to be nearly 200 wrestlers in the game. They're going to put pretty much everyone on the roster in the game. You can damn sure as hell bet that, even if they've been out for a while with injuries. So I would not be surprised to see her at all. Tatanka, the Native American, I expect there's a pretty good chance we'll see him again. Tatsumi Fujinami, pretty good chance we'll see him again. I was a little surprised he was in last year's game. But, I mean, why not? I guess he has a lot of history with Ric Flair and NWA. The Godfather, I expect we'll see again. Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. I would love to see him in a game as a playable wrestler and not just a manager. I hope it happens this year. It's been a while since we've seen him. Obviously, The Rock will be in the game. Trish Stratus will be in. Tyson Kidd, he's out. He's not coming back because of an injury. I was kind of surprised he wasn't last year's game. Whether or not he's in this year's game, I don't know, but there's still, 50% chance maybe he will be. Obviously, the Ultimate Warrior will be in the game. Vader, more than likely, will be in the game. And that was it for last year's roster. Let's see who else I got here. The Cruiserweights. I would say there's a 90 to 95% chance we will see most of the Cruiserweights that are on the roster in the game from 205 Live, like Akira Tozawa, Ariya Daivari, etc., etc. Cedric Alexander, Kurt Hawkins, straight away from the Cruiserweights. Again, 95% chance he'll be in the game, pretty good chance. He will be in this year's game. Actually, I expect he'll be in this year's game. Sorry, excuse me. Dougal Luke, again, another one's got a good chance to be in the game. Elias Sampson, I expect to be in the game. At least a 95% chance he will be. Gentleman Jack Gallagher, again, probably a 95% chance to be in the game. Grand Metalik, probably 90% chance. Ho Ho Loon, probably a 75% chance to be in the game. I don't know how active he's been on 205 Live. Certainly don't think he's been on Raw. It's been more NXT, so I don't know if we'll see him or not. Out of the Cruiserweights, he's probably less likely, as is Oney Lorcan, who's been more active in NXT than on 205 Live. Let me just go through my list here very quickly, just double check. I think I mentioned Brie Bella. Obviously, she'll be on the game. Despite the fact that she's away, having babies, and training to come back next year, she's still a pretty big fixture of TV with Total Bellas and whatnot. And you can't have Nikki without Brie, so they gotta be both in there. Jerry the King Lawler. I would love to see him back in the game. It's been a while since he's been a playable character in a game, and I don't think he's doing commentary this year, so it's a good opportunity to bring him back. A 50-50 chance we'll see him, I think. Jinder Mahal definitely will be in the game. He wasn't in last year's game. I just thought I would mention that. Kurt Angle is 100% confirmed to be in the game, as well as several others. Lince Dorado, I'd probably say 90% chance. Maria Kanellis, I'm going to say 0, because he just returned. It's way too soon. And she's never been a wrestler or active competitor, or very little. And as we all know, when it comes to like women like Lana, who are managers, they usually don't make it in the game as playable characters. If anything, Maria could be in the game, 50% chance to be in the game as a manager, but that's it. It's probably too late anyways. Maurice, same thing. I'd probably say 50% chance to be in as a playable character, or less even. I'm not expecting her to be in there. The Hardy Boys, I expect to be in the game. It'll be pretty disappointing, and there'll be a lot of backlash if they don't get the Hardy Boys in the game. Mickey James, I expect to see in the game this year. Mike Kanellis, 50% chance we'll see him. It might be too late, but there's a good chance we'll see him, possibly just as a DLC. Noam Dar, 95% chance, I'd say. Pete Dunne, the current United Kingdom champion, I'd say there's a 95% chance we'll see him. They're going to have the belt in the game without a doubt, so they got to have somebody as the champion, so it makes sense to have him in the game. The former champion Tyler Bate, I would say probably 90% chance as well. Anyone else from the UK brand, I don't expect to see, or very little chance anyways. The Singh brothers, 50% chance we'll see them in as playable characters. If anything, they might be in the game as the Bollywood boys. I wouldn't surprise me. I mean, considering last year we lost Matadors as opposed to the Signing Stars, that would make sense to me. But it's a small chance. I think the Singh brothers will be in there. Brian Kendrick, I think it's a pretty good chance he'll be in the game. Mustafa Ali, 90% chance. I'm kind of all over the place here, I apologize. Rhino, the man beast. 100% chance he'll be in the game. I'm pretty certain he'll be in this year. Rich Swann, 95% chance. TJ Perkins, I'd say it's probably 100%. Tony Nese, probably 90% chance. And that's it for the main roster. For NXT, I'm going to predict that Akam and Rezar, the Offers of Pain, will be in the game, and I expect Paul Ellering will be in the game as a manager. Aleister Black, I'd say probably 95% chance. Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane of Sanity, I'd probably say 90% chance. Aaliyah, probably 50% chance, not too likely. Andrade Almas, possibly 90% chance. Angelo Dawkins and his partner Montez Ford, 0. They haven't even officially made their debut. Same with Zolita Vega, who is Andrade Almas' manager. She's relatively new. Asuka, obviously 100%. Billie Kay, 95%. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, practically zip, like 5% chance because they're relatively new. They haven't even made their official debut on TV. They're not going to make the cut, unfortunately. But next year, more than likely they'll be in the game. Bobby Roode, 100% chance, even if it's just DLC, which would be disappointing, but better than nothing. I talked about Blake and Murphy. Drew McIntyre, I'd say 95% chance. Ember Moon, I'm going to say 100% chance. Same with Eric Young. Obviously, Hideo Itami will be in the game. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, 95% chance they'll be in the game. They might be in the game as a tag team still, but it's better than nothing. Cassius Ohno, probably 95% chance. Liv Morgan and Mandy Rose, probably just a 50% chance. Probably not going to happen. Nick Miller and Shane Thorne, probably a 25% chance. They haven't been too active lately due to an injury. Nikki Cross, 95% chance. I hope to see her. No Way Jose, I'd say probably 90-95% chance. I mentioned Only Lorcan, probably 50% chance. Otis Dozovic and Tucker Knight, who are heavy machinery, 25% chance. They're just not relevant enough yet, I don't think. It's too soon. Peyton Royce, 95% chance. Roderick Strong, 95% chance. Ruby Riott, 95% chance. And some of these may be a little bit higher than they should be. I don't know how much we're going to get for NXT. I do hope that we get most of the active NXT roster. Because otherwise, then, what's the point of having NXT in the game if we can't get most of the guys in there? Sonya Deville, 25% chance, not likely. The Velveteen Dream, probably a 50% chance. He's kind of recent. And William Regal, 75% chance. It'd be nice to see him in the game again. Going on to some of the alumni. Adam Rose, 0. AJ Lee, 25% chance. I'd love to see her back in the game. I hope it happens, but I'm not expecting it. Del Rio, I already said 0. Austin Aries, 50%. Talked about Bigelow. Bautista, 80% chance we'll see him again, I would say. The Boogeyman, there's always a 50-50 chance, but I'm not expecting it. CM Punk, again, I don't expect it, but there's always a small chance. I said 25%. Same with Dean Malenko. Demolition, I would love to see them in the game, but I don't see it happening. I say 0, just because of legal issues. Dunk the Clown, 25% chance we'll see him. There's always a possibility. He's been in previous games. Eve, there's a 50% chance I think we'll see Eve because she is one of their ambassadors, so there's always a possibility. Finley, 75% chance he'll be back. Goldberg, I think I mentioned 100% chance we'll see him. Haku, there's always a chance, 50% I would say. I mentioned Ivory. I have Jazz on here as 25%. I don't expect to see her, but never say never. And this is not like a wish list I have or anything. This is just random names from the WWE website. John Morrison, I'm going to say 0. I was going to say 25, but since he's now apparently working for Global Force, it's less likely. Kelly, 50% chance, just like Eve. Ken Shamrock, 50% chance he'll be back. Kenny and Mikey, the Spirit Squad, 50-50 chance for Kenny, 25% chance for Mikey. Not likely for both of them, but you never know. Karma, you can always hope. I say 25% chance, but not likely. Same with King Barrett, 25% chance. Layla, 25% chance. Lex Luger, 90% chance he'll be back. Michelle McCool, 25% chance. I don't expect it. Melina, 50% chance, because I expect Beth Phoenix will be in the game, and they got to have something for Hall of Fame showcase. I don't know who they would put her up against, but Melina is a possibility, I think. And it'd just be nice to see more women from that era that were good. Molly Holly, 25% chance, don't expect it. Rey Mysterio, 50% chance he'll be back, especially with Kurt Angle being in the game. But that helps out his odds because there was a lot of involvement between the two of them. Rob Van Dam, 75% chance, maybe less. Maybe that's being a little bit optimistic. Ryback, 0. Santino Marella, 25% chance. I don't expect it unless they want to revive Glamorella. Savio Vega, 25%. Again, don't expect it. Shelton Benjamin, 50% chance. I believe he has re-signed with the WWE. It's too late for him to be put into the game as a result of that. However, because he was part of Team Angle, there is a possibility we'll see him in the game, as well as Charlie Haas. I mentioned Sid. Tajiri, there's a 90% chance we'll see him since he did return this year for a while and he is a legend. Tatanka, 90% chance we'll see him again. The Great Khali, I'd say 50% chance. Same with the Honky Tonk Man. The Hurricane, I said 25%. But it's probably less because he does work for Global Force. The Nasty Boys, wouldn't mind seeing them, but I think there's only a 25% chance we'll see him. Tommy Dreamer, probably a 50% chance. Umaga, probably a 25% chance. I don't expect it. Val Venus, again, I don't expect it, but 25% chance. Victoria, again, kind of fits in with the Beth Phoenix stuff. I'd probably say 50% chance. And X-Pac, 90% chance. Let's just go on to some Hall of Famers very quickly. Beth Phoenix, like I said, 100% chance she'll be in the game. Pretty good chance. Maybe not 100%, but 99%. Big John Studd, probably not too likely. Superstar Billy Graham, not likely. Hasn't been in any games thus far. I don't expect to see him. Barry Windham, there is a possibility. I wouldn't mind seeing him. Bob Backlund, 75% chance we'll see him again. Bob Orton Jr., 50% chance we'll see him. Bruno Sammartino, 50% chance we'll see him again. I got Donald Trump on here because he is a Hall of Famer. He's very relevant. And what a marketing feature, what a promotional feature to have Donald Trump in the game. I'm not a fan of him. I don't expect to see him at all. I could care less. But I could see Vince McMahon putting him in there just for like the promotional value. And publicity, you know. Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young, I said 25% chance. We haven't seen him in any games thus far for some reason. But, never say never, I guess. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, 50% chance we'll see him back. Harley Race, not likely. Jacqueline, I mentioned. Junkyard Dog, 50% chance we'll see him. Larry Sabisco, 95% chance we'll see him back. I think I mentioned him already. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, 50% chance we'll see him. Not too likely since we haven't seen him in any recent games. But it would be a wonderful game if he was in there. And moving on. Roddy Piper, 90% chance we'll see him in a game because he did pass away like a year ago, last year sometime. Uh, and it would make sense for them to put him in the game as a result of that. Unfortunately, it has to be a result of that. But I mean, it's been a while, a couple games since we had, a couple years since we see him in a game, and he should be in a game. He's a legend. Ron Simmons, 95% chance we'll see him. Sergeant Slaughter, 75% chance we'll see him again. It's been a while since you've seen him, but he does show up every now and then, so it's a possibility. Tully Blanchard, one of the other horsemen, 75% chance we'll see him. It would be nice to get all 4 horsemen in the game as opposed to just 2. The Blackjacks, I don't expect to see. Very small chance. Terry Funk, there's always a chance, 95% chance maybe. Or maybe that's too high, 75% chance is more like it. I mean, there's a possibility. Iron Sheik, I don't expect to see. The Road Warriors, would love to see them, one of the most legendary tag teams. However, legal issues with Animal will probably prevent this from happening. Talked about the $1 Million Man already. The Rock and Roll Express, 95% chance they'll be in the game. I'm not going to say 100% because sometimes Hall of Famers decline being in the game. However, I think they would want to be in the game. And if they are in the game, then I say there's a 90% chance the Midnight Express will be in here because I believe they were the biggest competitors, the biggest feud, and it would make sense to have that in the game for the showcase. I mentioned Devon Eriks. Yokozuna, I'd say probably 75% chance you see him. I mentioned Charlie Haas, probably 50%. I'm not going to go over some of these other guys. Taz, because of Kurt Angle, there's a 75% chance he'll be in the game. And maybe some other people like Too Cool, 50% chance. Because there was some feuds with them. And Hulk Hogan. I'm going to say there's a 50% chance you see Hulk Hogan. It's not too likely, but there is a small chance because they are, he's not outright banned from the WWE anymore. He hasn't returned yet, but you never know. He might be in the game. So that is that. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what you think. What are your predictions for the roster? And one more I'm going to mention. Vampiro. Maybe a 50% chance we'll see him in the game because he is in the alumni section for some reason. I don't know how or why, but he is. So you never know. Possible. But anyways, that is that. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time with more. Don't tell me it didn't fucking record. Come on.